In this video, we will see how we can create a rug using two different techniques, the hair and fur modifier and the V-Ray fur. Let's start with the hair and fur modifier. Open the file rug.max, where I have set a close-up camera over the rug. Select the carpet, go to the Modify tab, click on the modifier list and select the hair and fur modifier. Automatically, some hair is generated on the carpet, which, let's say, look more like grass at this point. Let's also produce a render to see how it looks. So, it's terrible so far, but don't worry. Let's start adjusting the default parameters. Select the hair and fur and go to the Modify tab. Go to the General Parameters rollout. Let's make the scale 30. This way the hair gets shorter and smaller. Let's produce another render. They still look very thick, so the next parameter we will adjust is the root thick, where I will type 4. That's better now. The next step is to put more hair so that it looks more dense. To do so, we will increase the hair count. Let's try 20,000. That's better. Next is to change the orientation of the hair. Now they all face towards the top. I want a more random pattern. To achieve this, we will first go to the clamping parameters rollout. When clamps is 0, they all face the same direction. And let's set clamps to 5. Nothing really changes, but that's because we also need to change the strength. If we type 0.5, you will see the hair gets divided into groups, and the higher the value, the more groups get created. Let's set it to 80. What does the strength value do? It ranges from 0 to 1, and the higher we go, the more the tips get attracted to each other. Let me go to the perspective view. If I type 0, they all face towards the top. If I make it 1, they now lean to each other. I will make it 0.8. Let's do one more render. Next parameter we will adjust is the freeze value. So let's open the freeze parameters rollout. In simple terms, freeze is when the hair gets more curly instead of straight. I will make the freeze root value 300 and the freeze tip value 250 and produce a render. Now the hair blends more and we finally get a really interesting result. I need to increase again the hair count to cover any gaps that we see here. So I will go back to the general parameters and make the hair count 40,000. Let's check how it looks. One last thing we need to talk about is the material of the rug. The hair and fur automatically gets the color of the texture we assigned to our rug, and gives it a bit of variation so that not all hair look the same. Let's try another texture. Go to textures.com, to the PBR materials, and to the fabrics category. And let's pick this one. Create a new V-Ray material and apply it to the rug. Let's do a render. And now I think that this is perfect. Feel free to play around with the parameters and add the texture you want and send me to see your results. Now let's see the second option, the V-Ray modifier. Select the hair and fur modifier and click on the trash can button to delete it. Select the carpet, go to the command panel, click on the Create tab, on Geometry and on the Standard Primitives tab here and choose V-Ray. Select the V-Ray fur from the Object Type rollout. Hair are automatically placed on the carpet and now we also have automatically a random pattern on it. Let's do a render. So what do we see here? That contrary to the hair and fur that was getting automatically the material from the carpet, the V-Ray fur is independent and by default has the color you see in the Name and Color tab. With the V-Ray fur selected, let's apply the same material we created for the rug. And now, if we render, they both match. The length is the height of the hair. If we make it 5 cm, they will now be 5 cm tall. The thickness controls the thickness of the hair, while the gravity controls how strongly the hair will be pushed down along the Z direction. If we make gravity 0, then the hair will have a direction towards the top. Bend controls how elastic the hair will be. When bend is 0, the hair is like perfect straight lines. The more we increase the value, the more they will bend towards the direction of the gravity we have set. And finally, taper allows us to add a taper and make the tip of the hair thinner than the root. If we go to the variation section, that's where we set the variation of the direction, the length, the thickness, etc. of the hair, so that not all will look identical. And finally, from the distribution section, we set the density of the hair. In the per area field, we specify the number of hair per squared unit. Our scene is set in centimeters, so this parameter specifies the desired number of hair per square centimeter. So play around with this value to adjust the density. That's all on how to make fluffy rugs. Please don't forget to send me your samples to see what you've got.